But when it comes to Hollywood, a lot of times Hollywood will use large lights. And it doesn't necessarily mean the light is big. They do use big RE lights, but it also means they want to make sure that the plane in which light is being casted is not just a small light, but rather a very large canvas, something that's called a scrim. So how they do that is they take a light and they shoot it onto the scrim, and the scrim will reflect light through it and cast it into your image. Why do they do this? Why don't they just set up a small little light that's very bright, because lights are so bright these days, and just throw it at the image? Well, you get a different result. Here's an example that I found of someone doing a test between using a scrim or just using a light without diffusion, basically, without large diffusion. And what you can see in the top image is without diffusion. So as you can see, it creates a lot of very harsh shadows. The smaller the light, the less diffused it is, the more shadows it creates, very harsh shadows, very hard lines. And it could become very harsh. It could be used like it's a style that you can use for your story, but it's not naturally the most comfortable to look at and not naturally the most flattering. So you want to make sure it's used appropriately. So a lot of times Hollywood just opts for doing this very large diffused light. The larger the light diffusion, so a scrim or a very large, soft box that's put on your light, can create this very soft roll into the contrast, roll into the shadows. And so that's very valuable for you to do. If you want to use a scrim and set up, a whole system like this, Hollywood does it for almost every scene they film. And so it's a very valuable tool. If you don't have all of that, you could just get a very large softbox and put that on your key light to get the desired outcome and to not have those extremely harsh cutting shadows. But remember, the general rule is the larger the light, the more appealing, the more soft and more flattering light is going to be casted onto the story subjects, onto the characters, onto the focus area of your shot.